Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. We have 3 great stories today, so let's get started. You know I worked there. So throughout most of my career, I've been a paralegal, and I love it. This will be relevant shortly. This will also sound like a Tales from Retail story at first, and it probably would fit there too, but trust me, the payoff this subreddit craves will come. Anyway, due to some things happening and falling apart a few years ago, in my early 30s, I found myself out of the legal field and in retail again for the first time since my teens. I was working at a pet store. I absolutely loved it. Half of my clients licked me in the face. They were always so happy to see me. They knew I had treats in my front pocket just for them. I knew them all by name, and I loved them too. Especially this sweet and blind Shih Tzu, Tink. R.I.P. Tink, you were a sweet, good girl. Anyway, most of these dog owners who were our clients were really excellent people who were really well informed about pet care and were kind and pleasant to all of us employees. Despite how most people treat retail folks, it was so good, were it not for the money, I never would have left. This was a high-end pet store, kind of like Whole Foods for dogs. As employees, we were heavily trained before being allowed on the floor, and there were weekly trainings on new products and weekly reminders and refreshers on regular products. What I'm saying is, we knew our crap, and we also gave a damn. We all loved it there. Of course, there were a few exceptions. A few customers we all dreaded coming in. Just people, not dogs. We love all the dogs. This is the story of one such regular customer. His name was Tony. He was super needy. I was told to avoid him at all costs before I even met him. I never did meet his dog, and at this store, that was unusual. But one day, he found me, and he latched onto me. I was told he was prone to do this, and once he found an employee, he would only speak to that one employee, ever, until that employee left. Before I started, he once asked a question of an employee that required research, and when she called him back with the info, he didn't answer. He called back the next day, but by then it was that employee's day off. The employee had informed the rest of the staff of the info in case Tony called back, and he did, but he wouldn't accept the info from any of them. He wanted it from her. But again, it was her day off, so of course he wanted her cell phone number. Though all her notes were behind the counter, they were all informed enough to interpret them and provide them to Tony, but they did not give Tony her cell number, so he left in a huff. But with Tony, it was worse for me, because he found me right after she quit and on my first week on the floor. And my name's Anthony, so Tony thought we had an even stronger bond. Ron Howard, we didn't. My first interaction with him was looking at dog treats. Now, as I said, this was a high-end pet store. There were no treats that had wheat, soy, artificial colors, or artificial flavors, but some of them were also non-GMO and gluten-free. Tony asked me to look up every single gluten-free, non-GMO treat in the store and provide him with an analysis of best value. Basically, a weight versus cost breakdown. But there was no info. There was no list of products broken down that way, and no way to search those parameters in our system, so I had to create it from scratch by looking at the ingredients of over 100 products while still receiving inventory, stocking, answering customer questions, facing canned food, and minding the register. I pulled it off in a couple days, and Tony went with whatever I told him was the best value, but then came the problems with his dog's breath. 14 years old and finicky. Not many solutions, and the dog rejected them all. The problems with his friend's dog that never added up. Tony was just bringing his friend with a learning disability into the store to make this guy feel stupid so he could feel superior, and it was clear that Tony was effing him too. Anyway, finally, after 8 months, I found another job back in my field as a paralegal. My second day there, I stopped at the grocery store on my way home from work, and right there in the soda chip section was Tony. He saw me. He walked right over with 2 bags of different types of kettle chips in his hands. He addressed me by name and asked me if I could look up the difference of something about them. At the pet store, I wore jeans and a t-shirt. No uniform, no name tag, but this was a grocery store, and I'd just gotten off work at the law firm. I was wearing black dress pants, a button-down shirt, and a tie, and had half a full basket in my hand. Tony, where the F do you think you are? Tony started to respond, but I interrupted. Nope, Tony, you got to do your own label reading today. I don't work here, and as of last week, I don't work there anymore either. How about you read a GD ingredient label for yourself for once? I don't know how he responded. Freely turning my back on him and turning the corner was worth not knowing what his reaction was. I earned it. So that's it. Cheers, friends. I don't work here. And Tony, I don't work there anymore either. Okay, fun. Let's go see my manager. This story just came up on my Facebook memory, so naturally I had to share it with you guys. If there's one thing I learned in my 15 years working retail, specifically in a mall, it's to take your name tag off the instant you clock out for your break. This is one of the most dramatic of the times I broke that cardinal rule. I worked in cosmetics at an upscale department store. As such, most, if not all days, I looked put together and well-polished. Wearing all black, I could easily have worked at just about any of the stores, but usually the clear purses we had to carry were significant enough to clue that I was shopping, or at the very least off the clock. Wearing a name tag increased the odds of an encounter exponentially, but nearly all IDWHL misunderstandings were followed by laughter and pleasantries. Well, my coworker / BFF came back from her break showing me a necklace she'd purchased and said I needed to go get it too because it would look great with my top. I wholeheartedly agreed and asked the department manager if she could watch my counter while I popped down to New York & Company, where I could actually afford to shop, unlike my own place of employment, to get one. No problem, I'd be gone 5 minutes. I booked out of my store in a hurry with my wallet in my purse, i.e. no telltale I'm not working purse, and that necklace on my mind, and cue sad trombone, my name tag on. The accessories were located in the back of the store by the registers, so I walked down the main aisle with purpose and at speed. Excuse me. Keep walking. Excuse me. I turned around to see what the commotion was about, as you do, and kept walking. Hey you! I know you just saw me. Finally, I stopped and looked back again. Locking eyes with me was a down-market Karen with creek-bathed, scraggly hair dyed aubergine, wearing an outfit that looked like Stevie Nicks at Sturgis. Let's call her Twyla. Gathered around her were her mom and daughter, who play no role in this story, but we can assume they were named something like Beulah and Hazel Pat. Me. Who, me? Twyla, rushing over. Yeah, you. I've been looking for someone to help me for over 20 minutes, and you've been on break. Me. Yeah, I'm on break from the store I work, which is not here. Twyla, you brat, I know you work here. Stop lying to me. LOL, JK, she didn't say that, but I couldn't resist the meta reference. Twyla, actually, whatever, go punch in and get me this shirt from up on the wall. Me. I do work in the mall, but I don't work here. I'm heading that way near the register so I could ask somebody. This did not suit Twyla, who goes on a rant about nobody working here, me supposedly not working here, and how rude and unhelpful I was. Of those things, only one was true. Despite her protests, I still did not work there. Twyla, your customer service sucks, and wherever you do work, your manager's going to hear about it. Looks at my name tag. Ooh, fancy store, huh? What's your name? I'm going to call them right now. Me. Here you go. Here's my business card. That's my full name and the store phone number. Twyla, this is probably your direct number. What's the extension of the store manager? Me. With a sigh as I forego the necklace. I'll do you one better. Let's go chat with her right now. Twyla gathers up Bertha and Destiny, or whatever names I gave them, and follows me out the door. I'm practically at a trot, both because of how awkward the whole thing was, and I needed a moment to prep my department manager, who was still covering my counter. As I get within hearing range, I hiss, "Get ready for this!" My department manager, Mindy, braces herself. Me. Here's the manager. Not the store manager. That lady sucks, and I might actually have gotten in trouble. Twyla, your employee, me, is rude and horrible at her job, and incoherent ramblings. Mindy, when were you here? Twyla, I wasn't, but Mindy, she's great at her job. She's not responsible for working at other stores. Me, I'm at work now. Can I interest you in a complimentary consultation, including a sample of your customized foundation? Twyla, F you and F this store. I'm never shopping here again. Again, LMAO. Where's the manager, you lazy boy? Customary background, I was getting help from a teacher after school at my middle school, so I missed the bus. My mom works at the Dollar Tree around the corner, so I went over there. I was wearing a green polo and blue skinny jeans and a black school spirit hoodie around my waist. My shirt said Middle School Cambridge on it. Green polos and black slacks are the uniform. I was looking at books with a basket. My backpack was in my mom's car. I'm late all the time, so I know the store. This is important later. The usual nice people ask me to point them to this and that, canned food, toys, etc. I point them around and keep book shopping. Then our Karen comes in. Now this Karen's a dude, so I don't know. He asked if we sell fans in Spanglish, and I told him about the garbage candy fans. He said, no big fan, standing fan. This is a dollar store. We do not sell fans. He demanded me check in the back, and I told him I can't do that because I'm 12 and I don't work here. He huffed and said it again. I repeated myself. He grabbed my arm and dragged me to the register. Of course, I fight his grip. Now, for added detail, he smelled like a pile of crap covered in Axe. He tells the first cashier that he sees I'm lazing about and not checking the back room for him. I just stand there, trying to rip his nasty hands off me. He demands to see the manager. Now, this is where it gets funny. Of course, she grabs the manager instantly. She comes out of the office, rushes over to us, and says, Onion, what the hell is happening? He tells a stretched-out tale about me lazing about, not helping him. The manager glared at him and said, Onion is my son. He doesn't work here. Get out of my store and stay away from my son. My mom's still the manager, and I have many, many more stories from my adventures at the local Dollar Tree, where everything's $1, but the harassment and assault is free. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.